Hi everyone, I'm Steve Main here with Brian Sanchez. Brian Sanchez is a personal trainer at Fitness for 10 in Carson City, Nevada. Regular guest here on our show. Welcome, Brian.
How you doing, Steve? Thanks for having me again today.
Right, so Fitness for 10 in Carson City is on Fairview. You can look them up online. If you have questions or comments, suggestions for me, you can get me at stevemain.com. So, Brian, let's talk about something that's really interesting. Machines versus free weights. Now, you got machines which go on a singular plane. You've got dumbbells and barbells when it comes to free weights. So let's talk about that. Where should people start? What's the benefit? But let's just compare free weights to machines. Go ahead.
Well, we actually get asked that quite a bit, more so by the people that are newer to the facilities and don't necessarily know where to start. But even by very experienced people that are kind of stuck in their routines, trying to shake something up, saying what's the best way to work out. The answer, when it comes to what's better, machines or free weights or other equipment, the answer is yes. It's not what's better. It's how we put it together for our body. And there are some things that are a lot easier to use than others. Because you have to look at kind of the differences. So I think, as we've always suggested, Steve, when we talk about this, it is up to the individual, their body, their age, their health, their physical capabilities, their range of motion, all the different characteristics that we interview them about before we put them into a program that you want to consider if you're going to do this yourself as well. How long has it been since you've been to the gym? What kind of condition are you in? Are you going to work out by yourself? Do you need a spotter because of what you're doing? Those things all play into the choices that we make. And in any given week, I'll use myself as the example for this. I'll use machines, free weights, barbells, dumbbells, bands, ropes, medicine balls, kettlebells, which I like to use. I use so many different things that we never stay on one type of apparatus, if you will, or piece of equipment. And I think for the overall well-being of the body, to balance the body out, I think you should use a bit of everything. For instance, if I'm going to use machines and I set up, let's just say I'm newer to the gym and I just want to see how my body's going to operate. Maybe you do want like a machine circuit. You come down to where we're at located, our machines are set up in a way that you can work through your body. So you can start on one end of the machine farm, if you will, work your way down the line, not using the same machine twice, if you will, and cover your entire body or split it in half and create something. The difference is when you're using machines, you have to understand your range of motion is controlled. Your line of motion is controlled. You have to look at a machine as the resistance is on a rail in a sense. It's going in one direction and returning the direction that it started. So it's very, very safe actually when you use it, because if you use the machine properly, you most likely can't hurt yourself. It doesn't take a lot of balance to use a machine. A lot of the machines that we see outside of like the Smith machines and things like that, or maybe some of the CAS machines are in a seated position that require you to sit down, create stability, and then move the weight. The nice thing about a machine is you don't have to have somebody spot you in most instances, because the weights aren't going to be in a situation where you're required to balance and control everything, because the machine does a lot of that. Some of the kicks to it would be you're in a single plane of motion. When we work out, we want to develop a system that puts us into three different planes of motion. And to use words that I would use, front and back, side to side, and rotational planes of motion. The machines don't necessarily allow you to do that unless you specifically take like a rotary machine and adduction abduction machine and a push press machine, you might get different planes of motion, but you'd have to have that knowledge. Otherwise, you're going forward and back on a machine. And we want to develop your body more to that, put you in different planes of motion. Also, when you flip to the other side, when it comes to free weights or the rest of the equipment that we use in the gym, bands, medicine balls, dumbbells, barbells, bench press, it forces the body to have to recruit muscles and balance everything you have in your hands. I'm a dumbbell nut. I love dumbbells because you have to balance everything so much as you're doing every move with the dumbbell. But that takes practice. It takes developed understanding of what you're doing and why. And you want to know specifically what your main muscles are that are moving. So when you're using a barbell, let's say, for instance, in a chest press, the prime mover is going to be the chest, but you have to understand in order to balance that free weight barbell chest press as opposed to using a chest press machine, your body has to recruit the muscles to stabilize it and hold it so it's not going in 20 different directions because it's not on any kind of track or alignment in the movement, if that makes sense. The thing about free weights is you don't want to overlift. We did a Don't Be That Bro segment on lifting within your means, not with your ego or something to that effect. Where people get in trouble in the free weights, because free weights are incredibly safe. You have to lift within your means. If you're using barbells and dumbbells, don't go in there and try to outlift the person to the left or right of you. Stay within your abilities and go for range of motion, because you're going to get greater range of motion generally than you would with a machine. Work on range of motion, balance, stability, control of the weight that you're lifting. If you can get that down, then you can go a little bit heavier. So short answer is use a little bit of everything, because it's not just the machines or the weights. You've got medicine balls that have certain ways of movement. You've got battle ropes to work on certain forms of movement. You've got medicine balls, Bosu balls, exercise balls. You name it, we have it available to us. Learn a little bit about everything and then create the workout with as many of those different things as you can.
That's great information, Brian. And yeah, you mentioned that the machines are safer. That's because the weights are on a stack, and
Yes.
the weights come down on the stack. If you're using free weights, the weight could come down on your head
Yes.
or your chest. And so you've got to know your intensity level, make sure it's proper if you're not using a spotter, using free weights. But ask. Gyms are friendly. It's not mean people in there say, hey, you mind giving me a spot? No one's going to say no. I mean, they might have a question. How do you want me to do it? You want me to push up from your elbows? You want me to grab the bar? How do you want me to spot you? And then you can answer them. But that's just great explanation of the differences there, Brian. You know, the machine, you're on a singular plane. With free weights, you know, you're not on a singular frame of balance, and you have to stabilize the weight and the movement. So more muscles are involved, and it's different, very different. And you're right, it does take practice. But that is a great explanation, Brian. We appreciate it. Brian Sanchez at Carson City Fitness in Carson City. Thanks for being with us.
Hey, no problem, Stephen. Hey, everybody. Make sure you go to our site and check out Steve on Don't Be That Bro, and you will see that little bit where he's lifting beyond his means.
Yeah, okay. Thanks. We'll see you next time, Brian.
Take care. Bye now.